Our movie begins during World War II and features a child named Angus. This child loves the sea but is afraid to approach it. He always imagines that if he goes into the water, he will drown and no one will be able to save him. He also loves collecting seashells, just as he used to do with his father in the past. One day, he finds a large but lightweight rock and decides to keep it. He calls out to his mother Anna to return home together. He goes to the house's storage to place the seashells and the large rock. As he starts examining the rock, he discovers that it is peeling and has a strange color, secreting a sticky substance resembling eggs. At that moment, his mother calls him, so he leaves the rock in the storage. Suddenly, the rock begins to move with a slight motion. Night falls, and the wind grows stronger, causing the storage door to open. Angus descends into the storage and finds a cracked egg lying on the ground. Sensing movement and hearing things breaking around him, he follows the sounds and broken objects, eventually discovering a small, strange creature hiding from him. Angus tries to reach out his hand towards it, but the fearful creature attempts to bite him. Then Angus rushes to the kitchen and retrieves a knife and a potato to offer them to the creature, hoping it would be able to eat them. He begins feeding the creature and allows it to touch him without biting. However, he realizes that the creature is injured on its back. He quickly retrieves a first aid kit to treat the creature, then leaves it in the storage and returns to his room to avoid his mother noticing his delay in the storage. The next day, Angus wakes up to the sound of a military battalion at the entrance of their house. Captain Thomas knocks on their door and informs them that the battalion will be staying in their garden as per the orders from the command center for a limited period of time. After the house was secured by the soldiers, Angus goes to his father's library and takes a dictionary. He then heads to the storage to check on the condition of the creature and finds it chewing on his father's shoe, indicating its hunger. He goes to the kitchen, takes the remaining food basket, and gives it to the creature to eat. He decides to name the creature Crusoe, after the author of his father's favorite book. He opens the dictionary to find out Crusoe's species, but doesn't find a specific type yet. Once Crusoe finishes eating, Angus attempts to touch its skin, but finds it extremely dry and in need of water. He fills a bowl with water for Crusoe and notices that it appears happy and enjoys the water. Angus begins to care for Crusoe, interacting with and playing with it. One day, Angus' mother searches for him to inform him about something related to his father. She encounters Lewis, the new housekeeper, and asks him to start cleaning the storage room. She suspects that her son is keeping an animal in there, and keeping animals in the house is not allowed. Lewis begins cleaning the storage room and sees Angus. He pours out the water that contained Crusoe, but Angus discovers that Crusoe is not in the water. After Angus asks Lewis what he is doing in his father's storage room, Lewis explains that he is cleaning it according to his mother's instructions. Angus sets out to search for Crusoe everywhere until nightfall. At this time, Crusoe grows in size while inside Angus' house. He is followed by Strunk, the battalion's cook's dog. Strunk is tied to the stove and attempts to reach Crusoe, causing chaos by pulling the stove and creating a mess due to the strength of the rope. To prevent further damage, Strunk is compelled to confine the dog in the storage room. Afterward, Angus hears his sister scream in terror. He quickly rushes to his sister before she can speak to anyone and explains everything to her. He assures her that Crusoe is not harmful, but wonders how it grew so quickly. His sister, Kirstie, promises not to tell anyone. In the following day, Anna returns to deliver her ex-husband's clothes to Lewis, who thanks her and informs her that he will thank her husband upon his return. However, Anna tells him that her husband will not be coming back as he drowned with his ship a year ago, and their son is still unaware of his father's death. Anna also mentions that the bathroom needs repair, and Lewis goes to fix it. He finds Angus and Kirstie in the bathroom, trying to stop him from entering, but they are unable to prevent him. Lewis observes Crusoe and, after calming down, tells Angus and Kirstie that it resembles a seahorse and is an extremely rare mythical creature that few people have seen in reality. He explains that legends say it is both male and female at the same time. He also reveals that when Crusoe reaches adulthood, it will lay eggs once and then die. They all wait in the bathroom until Anna calls them. They beg Louis and ask him to keep it a secret from their mother. So they tell their mother that they are helping Louis fix the bathroom pipes. While the army is having a feast at home, Angus comes out of the bathroom and forgets to close the door behind him. Crusoe also comes out of the bathroom, and the dog starts chasing him around the house. The dog begins to break everything around him in an attempt to reach Crusoe. He goes down to the ground floor next to the dining room where the battalion officers and Anna are gathered. Crusoe hides under the dining table, and the dog jumps over the table, causing chaos and disrupting the feast. Then Crusoe manages to escape from the dog and jumps into the fountain filled with fish, where he continues to eat them until sunrise. Louis and Angus found that Crusoe's size had increased since the last time they saw him. They had to carry him in a cart and transport him to the nearest lake. They released him from the cart because it was difficult to hide him in the house. When Angus returned home, he found out that his mother had asked Thomas to train him with the army and battalion to keep him occupied with various activities. Angus continued with the training and was unable to meet Cruz, who patiently waited for him until he finished the training. To escape from Thomas, Angus decided to go to the lake where Cruz was located. Angus kept waiting for Cruz to appear, but he didn't show up until Angus set off in a boat in the middle of the lake. There, he discovered Cruz chasing him with his increased size due to the food he consumed in the water. Cruz wanted to play with Angus just like before, so Angus rode on his back and swam with him in the water. Initially, Angus was scared because of his fear of water, but he gradually became accustomed to it and started enjoying riding on Cruz's back. Angus finds that the lake is closed off by a large military net. After they finish playing, Crusoe returns Angus to the beach. Before Crusoe enters the water, Strumpf, the regiment's cook, watching Crusoe before he dives into the water. Then Angus happily returns and tells Louis and Kirstie what happened. The next day comes, and Captain Thomas decides to take everyone to the hill in front of the lake to show them the army's activities and the regiment's plan to secure the area in case of a German attack if they approach the maritime zone. They showcase the power of the cannons and conduct a live experiment by launching missiles onto the lake where Crusoe is located. Angus becomes angry when he realizes they will strike the lake and tries to stop them but fails. Thomas orders the missiles to be launched, and as a result of Angus getting close to the missiles, his mother becomes angry with him, punishes him, and confines him to the house. During this time, a person from the city claims that they saw Crusoe at the lake. This individual monitors the lake with a photographer in hopes of capturing a picture of Crusoe when he appears, but they both fail to photograph him. Fueled by a desire for fame, this person fabricates an image of Crusoe which spreads in newspapers. Strumpf reads about it in the newspaper and informs his colleague Walker that he saw Crusoe. They decide to chase and hunt down Crusoe in order to become famous as his killer. Meanwhile, Angus escapes from home to check on Crusoe after his attack. He goes with Louis until they reach the lakeshore where Angus calls out for Crusoe, but is attacked by him instead. Louis intervenes and informs Angus that Crusoe has become a fierce animal after his attack. Angus feels saddened by the loss of his friend and returns home. However, Angus hears Strumpf's dog barking and realizes that someone is searching for Crusoe to capture him. Indeed, Strumpf and Walker are searching in the lake to attack and kill Crusoe. In retaliation, Crusoe attacks them both. They inform the command center that they are under attack at the lake and request that all missiles be directed towards it in order to save them. However, their boat is sunk by Crusoe. Cruz continued to attack Strumpf after he escaped from fear. Angus attempted to prevent Cruz from killing Strumpf and headed towards the inside of the lake until reaching the point of drowning. Cruz threw Strumpf far away and went to save Angus from drowning. Thomas and Anna saw Cruz in front of them. Anna made sure that her son wasn't lying or imagining. However, suddenly missiles struck the lake based on the boat's report before capsizing. Upon receiving the boat's distress signal, Angus tried to make Cruz escape away from the missiles. He climbed onto his back to guide him towards the path that leads them out of the lake and away from the strike zone. And because of the stormy weather and heavy rain, Thomas is unable to cancel the commands via the wireless. The surveillance soldiers are alerted to a sighting that resembles a periscope and mistake it for a German submarine approaching to attack them. However, it turns out to be Crusoe's head, and the assault on both Crusoe and Angus continues. The net is raised higher to prevent Crusoe, now acting as a submarine, from bypassing it. Thomas and Anna are on a boat, following Angus to rescue him if he drowns. Angus makes the decision to leave Crusoe behind, hiding underwater to evade the attack. He reaches his mother on the boat, but Crusoe manages to jump above the net. He lands on the net until it tears apart from the tower to which it is attached. Crusoe escapes to the sea, finally liberating himself. Angus catches a final glimpse of Crusoe as he swims in the ocean, bidding farewell to his sole companion.